Today, we're going to be talking about meal prepping, much less scientifical, much more applicable. And this is something that I don't think we can really get great success without meal prepping. On the sheet, on the schedule, it's titled Keto Diet. So I'm going to talk about the keto diet for a second because we said we are going to, and talk about the values of it and why it's still important, but I'm not a fan of it. That being said, it has pros, it has cons to it. It's good to keep in mind, and this same philosophy when meal prepping. I think carbs are good for us. The keto diet wants like 20 grams or less of carbs a day. I don't think that's sufficient, especially long term, but it can be very beneficial for a shorter period of time. So, overall, the keto diet is a low carb diet under 20 grams of carbohydrates that has the intention of burning fat as fuel instead of glucose. Remember, carbohydrates break down as sugar, break down as glucose through the body. Doesn't matter if they are good carbs, bad carbs, it doesn't matter. Carbohydrates as a whole break down as glucose. The idea of the keto diet is to not use that glucose for energy, instead use fats. The One of the arguments is that your brain has to use glucose for energy. The exception is ketones. The keto diet, when you're burning energy and you don't have glucose, creates ketones. Ketones is one of the big factors of fasting as well. If we're practicing intermittent or 24-hour fast, one of the big benefits for the brain, two of them, is autophagy, which is self-eating, excuse me, which is healing by eating itself. The cells eat themselves, autophagy, and ketones. Ketones help with this process, help to clean out the brain, create clarity. So there is some benefit to the keto diet for a shorter period of time, or decreasing those carbs, maybe moderately decreasing them or excessively decreasing them for the keto diet for a period of time. Ketones can be used like carbs, but are not stored the same. Your body's not storing them in the cells the same way it will glucose, but they do help to heal damaged cells, including in the brain, especially. Keto diet helps to increase fat burning, and I think it's important to talk about because I haven't heard anybody else talk about this. I've done a lot of research to try to understand if there is a difference. There's not much of a difference between the burning fat for fuel, fat burning as stored fat or dietary fat. Just because you eat dietary fat does not mean it equals to body fat. That's a huge thing that I want everybody to know, and that hopefully we have a good understanding in this group. But just because you eat dietary fat does not equate to body fat. That being the case, when your body's burning fat for energy, it goes to the most readily available. What's available? Is it in the bloodstream or has it already been stored? You can store dietary fat without having stored fat, but that dietary fat is typically most readily available. It's going to be used as fuel. So just because you're burning fat for fuel doesn't mean you're necessarily tapping into your stored fat reserves right away. I think that's important to talk about, but we still do want to focus on that fat burning. It's just not as simple and as amazing as it sounds right away. That being said, keto diet does increase your fat burning. It can increase mental clarity. Most of these are cans because there's a lot of different factors going on. But when you're eating real whole foods, healthy foods, it should increase mental clarity for a period of time. If you're living your lifestyle like this, it can have diminishing results. Okay. It can better balance hormones. This is one of the reasons why we're even talking about the keto diet, is because insulin tends to be out of whack, out of control, over in abundance, or you start becoming insulin resistant, so out of balance with everything. The keto diet can help kind of restore the balance with your insulin and how everything is affected by insulin slash blood sugar levels. Um, this is a big one, I think, based off our conversation last week. It can decrease metabolic flexibility slash efficiency, meaning spending too much time in this very, very, very low carbohydrate state, consistently burning ketones, it can decrease your metabolic flexibility. If we're spending long term in this keto diet, there are risks associated to not having enough carbs on a throughout your lifestyle. I'll just word it that way, throughout your lifestyle. Because of that, because of not having carbs for fuel whatsoever, we're relying on fat. When we're out of the fat, and when I say out of, readily available fat, your body starts to go to protein as fuel. It will break down fat and will tap into your stored fat reserves, but it wants the most easily, readily available energy. Protein becomes the next best thing. It is available quicker, more readily available. And so your body wants to use protein when you're not having enough carbs and then enough fat to meet your lifestyle and what you're doing at this moment. Um, Dirty ketones versus clean ketones. I'm not going to get into this too much, but as your body creates ketones, is it using good nutrient, good micronutrients to create these ketones that are burning for energy, that are helping to clean out the cells? Is going straight to the brain. Does your body have good cells to do this with or damaged cells to do this with? Food matters. The quality of food matters. And we're going to talk about that a lot. And then the last thing I want to be mindful of with the keto diet is it can increase stress. It can increase stress and increase your cortisol because we're putting no carbohydrates basically into your body. So I think this is important to talk about the keto diet as a whole. It can be used as a great tool to burn more fat, to help balance your hormone levels, to give you a little bit more mental clarity, more energy, get everything going smooth. I don't believe it is safe long term to stay consistent with. Maybe use it for a week at a time as kind of like a reset. Same kind of concept with fasting. The issue with keto is people tend to live that way long term, and I think there's too many risks associated, but it does have a lot of benefits. Some of the main benefits from fasting and the keto diet have a lot to do with glucose, your blood sugar levels, and the insulin response to those blood sugar levels. And that's why I want to talk about it before we get into the topic of meal prep. Is there any questions about that before I completely move on past the keto diet? Perfect. A lot of this, like I said, has to do with controlling your carbohydrates. We talked before a few weeks ago about your glycemic index and consuming carbohydrates with fats, fiber, and protein. Okay. That's going to be our strategy for meal prep. So I think it's also important to say if meals aren't ready, where are you going to eat? Are you going to skip meals? Inefficient. Your body tends to store fat and you don't get nutrients. You're not getting the most energy for your day, for your time. Are you going out to eat? Here's the issue with out to eat. I enjoy going out to eat as much as anybody else. I don't know a single restaurant in this area, I guess, except for what's the shake place, the Steak and Shake? That's the exception. That's not even a good place to go to. That doesn't use seed oils. Everywhere you go, every restaurant owner that I know all uses seed oils. Seed oils, I believe, seed oils and sugar are creating all the damage to our society. I believe it's those two things. If we need to avoid anything as a society to live a healthier life, it's avoiding seed oils and avoiding sugar. Seed oils, what they do, they have high levels of omega-6 that causes damage to our cells. When you hear about cholesterol causing heart disease, it has everything to do with oxidized cells, your oxidized cholesterol. The damage from the omega-6 damage and oxidizes your cells going through your body and basically breaks down your body on a cellular level. If you really want to get deep into this, the book Good Energy by Casey Means really explains it well and brings it from a big, broad perspective of how everything kind of dials down from those damaged cells because of seed oils. So, what are seed oils? It is canola oil, vegetable oil, grapeseed oil, a few others, peanut oil, most pretty much anything that you're going out to eat and that's what they're cooking with, they're cheap. You can get them in abundance, they're cheap. And the reason why they're cheap, they're ultra concentrated and then man-made in a lab with extra chemicals, we'll say. Because it says vegetable oils does not mean it's the oils from vegetables. They ultra concentrate these things and then dilute it with a bunch of other things to make it cheap and available. We need to avoid these. If we are not meal prepping, that's what we're getting every single time we go out to eat, even the healthier places. You can go to Whole Foods, they have a cafe there, all seed oils. City Silo is another healthy option of places that we go to for healthy food, seed oils. Babalu's is a place that we think we can go and get healthy, fresh tasting food, seed oils. Some of these places I've specifically asked the kitchen. Even Raven and Lily's, as much as I love them when they're around the corner, they still cooked everything in seed oils. They would get organic and grass-fed beef from the road down the farm, and they'd still have seed oils and things because that's what restaurants do. I don't want to do this in your household, in your cooking and meal prep. So when I think about oils that we're going to cook with, my favorites to go to for high temperature, tallow is great for high temperature cooking. Tallow is being talked about on the market a lot, not because it's the best fat ever, but it doesn't change with high temperature. The best place to get that is Costco. I haven't really seen other good options. I think Sprouts has it for a very high dollar. I think you get double the amount from Costco. But if you're cooking anything at higher temperatures, the tallow doesn't break down. Butter, it changes. It burns a little bit if you cook it at high temperature. Butter is a healthy option. Margarine, can't believe it's not butter. Anything like that country crock, those are seed oils. They're ultra processed. There's nothing good about them. They have less fat per gram of the oils. That does not matter. We need healthy fats. When you're going towards butter, go to grass-fed butter. That's it has nutrients. It's not just a substitute. It's not just good enough. It is good for you in moderation. In moderation. I forget the cook's name, Betty Crock, maybe who's known for her butter. Martha Stewart. They put excess butter in everything. That's not what I'm referring to. Think about the oils that you're going to cook at home with. Avocado oil. Avocado oil is best not cooked whatsoever. You can heat it up and still has a lot of its properties. There's debate. I don't have an opinion on this. Some people say when you cook it, it does not change it at all. Some people say when you cook it, it does change it. Whatever. Maybe it's a little bit better uncooked. Maybe when you cook it, don't cook it at high temperatures. I still rather you use avocado oil than the other substitutes out there. What else? Avocado oil. Avocado, I've been saying olive and mixing those back and forth. Avocado is good for high temperatures. So tallow and avocado are good for high temperatures. Butter and olive oil are good for lower temperature cookings. Ghee is another good option. It's clarified butter if you deal with any sort of um, milk sensitivity. That can be a good substitute. That's going to be one of the biggest factors of why you're going to cook at home versus going out to eat. I can go out to eat and get healthy food, healthy options, clean ingredients, but they're going to drown it in this omega-6 rich oil that does more damage to our cells. All right. That's a big factor that we need to make sure we have a good understanding. Next, there are three strategies, three approaches to meal prep. It does not matter which one of these you are in, but it does matter that you are cooking your food at home. One, meal prep your meals. Get meals together. What is it that you're having for breakfast? I usually do 5 days a week, and I'll break this down more in detail in a moment. But if I'm doing breakfast, lunch, and dinner meals, that's how we do it at our house. I have 4 days, 5 days worth of breakfast for me and Olivia. We cook it for both of us. It's the same thing all throughout the week. We throw it in the microwave. It is ready to go. Lunch, same thing. Same meals, maybe 5 days a week. Throw them in the microwave, ready to go. Same thing for dinner. That's one, meals. Two, you can meal prep components of your meals. Maybe it's all the protein you're getting ready for the week. That's Kate and Jared talked about this a little bit last week. One of the best ways that they meal prep is they just have the chicken ready to go. You can put it on tacos, you can put it on salads, you can do power bowls with it. You can get creative, but one of the harder things to do, already taken care of. What can you do with that? Get creative, and we'll talk more about that in a minute. And then the third approach is double batch. If you don't want to spend hours at a time on a Sunday, which you do because you're saving more time later, you're investing that time, literally getting it back later. If that's not you, whenever you do cook a meal, cook a double batch. If it's for you and your spouse, make a serving of four. That way you can put it in a Tupperware container and have it later. We need to have planning through our week. If you fail to plan, you plan to fail, and that is not us. So, again, double batch. Whenever you cook a healthy meal at home, Cook a double batch and save for later. It is super simple. Where do you get those recipes? You can maybe find them from us at PT Squared as we share them into our Facebook Fit fam, but also just look online. There are abundance of options out there, just creative ideas, weird things that you get to try, just easy, simple things that you just throw together. I don't want to say there's not a wrong way to do it, but if you're getting good macro ratios based off what we talked about before, we don't have to get too particular with the exact meals and recipes. I'll talk more about ideas about that in a moment. Again, three main ways to do it: prepping your meals, components of the meals, double batch. Double batch, we talked about, simple as can be. Components. Focus on protein. This is how I do it. Nothing here is science based. It's all just kind of strategy based. I meal prep every single week. Not a week goes by that I don't, because I eat every single week, and I can't health wise or really financially wise afford to go out to eat for every single meal. It breaks you down in every way. So one of the ways we can focus on meal prep is through components. What are the most time consuming portions of your meal? If you cook potatoes, sweet potatoes or just white potatoes, they tend to take a long time. That can be something that you spend a little bit extra time with on Sunday, getting the potatoes ready, mashed, diced, baked, however you want to do it. It takes the most time. So when you come home from lunch and you need to throw stuff together for a meal, that takes an hour. Are you about to spend that hour? You're not. Let's just be honest. You have work to do. You're tired from the day. You're not going to do that most days a week. Have that ready. The protein, especially, whether you're doing chicken, steak, ground beef, fish, turkey, any of these options, plan your meals based off around those. Or again, are you doing tacos? Are you doing taco bowls? Are you doing power bowls? Power bowls is the easiest because you get to plug and play as many different components in there as you would like. Second thought process with the components is, how are you cooking it? Are you baking it, grilling it, smoking the meat, put it in a crock pot? There's a ton of different options out there. Instapot? No, I'm thinking air fryer. There's so many different options out there with how you're going to cook it. Get creative. Food is meant to be enjoyed. We should enjoy what we're eating. This shouldn't be a punishment by any means. This shouldn't be a strict, I'm on this 3 month VIP challenge. I need to meal prep for the last couple months. No, this is a lifestyle and food is meant to be enjoyed. Okay. So get creative with these type of things. We love smoking meat. I'll put a whole chicken on the smoker, let it smoke till it gets temperature, pull it off and break it down and have that component ready. Maybe we want to do flatbreads. I keep saying the same things: tacos, power bowls, spaghetti. We can add in different components, but overall, we have those things ready. The things that take the most amount of time, have those things ready. Most importantly, if you are doing the components route, write out what meals you plan on making with these components. Don't just think you have a bunch of chicken ready, you're good to go. What are you going to do with it? Just eat chicken? No, that sucks. It's not enjoyable. Have your meals written out, mentally planned. Make sure when you go to the grocery store, you thought of your meals for the week and what you're eating for the week so you have groceries for that. Um, Next in that, in the components, focus on the protein, what type of protein, how you're going to cook the protein, have those meals planned out, then think about the veggies. What kind of vegetables are you going to add to it? Produce, fruits, and vegetables, yes. I don't add as much fruit to my meals. Maybe that's a personal thing. Fruit typically is not cooked as much. But fruits and vegetables, how are they going to be added to your meals? For the micronutrients value, for the variety of colors, for the taste and texture and all that components. Think about it from a micro, micronutrients level. Also think about it from a macro level. What are you adding to that? If it's avocado, it has extra fat. If it's starchy vegetables like corn or potatoes, beans and things like that, they're naturally going to, not beans, stay that out. They're naturally going to have more carbohydrates. If you are adding beans, they're going to have a little bit more fat in there. Think about the ratio as you add in these extra components of, we'll call it produce. I wrote down vegetables, but think about produce. And then add flavor. Food is meant to be enjoyed. How are you flavoring? Is it something as simple as hot sauce? Season the heck out of it. If you're getting good quality seasonings, they tend to be good nutrients to still add to your body. Black pepper and Himalayan sea salt or Himalayan salt or sea salt. Those things are very good for your body. Your body's using that to deliver nutrients throughout the body. Turmeric, cayenne pepper. You have ginger. You have garlic. All these seasonings in a cabinet, if they're actual seasonings and not a seasoning blend, they tend to be very, very healthy for you, but then they can add a lot of flavor. We do stuff like salsa, pico de gallo, pesto. We home make our own dressing, chimichurri sauce, spaghetti sauce. We add some honey, some cottage cheese to the mix. Where's your flavor coming from? I usually want an extra layer of flavor other than just the seasoning of the chicken or the ground beef and things like that. Yeah, you're going to get vegetables or the flavor from the vegetables, but you're going to want to add a little bit of razzle dazzle in there. Plan that. Make sure you still enjoy your food. So that's the components category. Think about the components, focus on the protein, what type of protein, how you're going to cook it, and then have those meals planned out ahead. I think when you do those three, you are set up for success. Think about the veggies that you're going to add or produce. Think about the extra flavoring that you're going to add. And that way you get to just bring out the two or three different things, cook up a meal in 10 minutes. When you come home exhausted from a long day, 10-minute meals are game changers. A piece of this, just another thought process of what Olivia and I used to do. We pulled back from this just to save a little money. But HelloFresh. HelloFresh is a company out there. It follows a lot of these same principles. They're not as intentional as we are at home of getting organic, grass-fed, pasture-raised type of ingredients. Their macros aren't as portioned out as we do it. But if you want that extra help and that extra guidance, HelloFresh is a really good, simple option. You get one brown paper bag, you dump it out, and all of your ingredients are there. You can cook dinner in 20, 30 minutes and you don't have to think too much about it. So that's just another option for this components piece. Then you have the meals themselves. This is the traditional meal prep. This is what we like to do for the simple fact of it's breakfast time, slide it in the microwave. It's lunchtime, slide it in the microwave. Dinner time, slide it in the microwave. It takes 5 minutes to heat up two people's meals, and we're ready to go. We get to eat, we get our nutrients in, we get something enjoyable, and then we get more time together with us as a family. We enjoy eating together. Sometimes we'll do exactly what I'm going to tell you here. And then sometimes we'll kind of create dinner and just go with it on its own. A lot of the times we'll do breakfast, lunch, and dinner, all meals ready to go. Sometimes we'll do breakfast and lunches ready to go and the components ready for dinner because, yeah, we have more time and maybe we want it tasting more fresh. Doing the meals this way, it might hinder the flavoring a little bit, the freshness of it a little bit. I promise it's worth it. If you go out to eat, they don't have the same freshness anyway, so it doesn't even matter. It's not even comparable. How we do our meals when we go this strategy with meal prep. We'll do really it's double of everything, but simply put for just you, 5 breakfasts, 5 lunches, 5 dinners. Maybe we'll do 3 and 2, 3 and 2, 3 and 2 if we want a little bit of change throughout the week. Typically, I don't care about change, I care about convenience. It's that purpose over pleasure mindset, although food is supposed to be pleasuring. I don't need a bunch of different breakfasts throughout the week. Yes, I want a variety of food and I figure out ways to still get that throughout my week, but ultimately, I don't want to make 4 different breakfasts to eat throughout the week. I'm going to make one thing and I'm going to have it throughout the week. Same thing for lunch, same thing for dinner. Dinner, I might get a little bit more creative with because I'm done with my work for the day and I get to enjoy family time, and food is a part of that family time. So, again, I do it 5, 5, and 5, and then have 2 days of discretionary eating. That discretionary eating isn't eat what I want, it's kind of figure it out as you go. So this morning for breakfast, when I get done with this, I'm going to go home. We're going to do some sweet potato hash on the Blackstone, grill some chicken sausage to go with it, and some fried eggs. It's fresh, it's clean eating still. I'm just making it, it's not part of the meal prep. It's just a Saturday morning. I'm going to make some breakfast on the grill outside. So for breakfast, here's some ideas. You could do eggs. If you're going to do meal prep for breakfast, I highly recommend eggs. You can do them over 100 different ways. They're going to be the most protein rich thing you're going to eat with the minimal amount of carbs most of the time. So things that we do eggs, fried or scrambled. We'll add some chicken sausage to go with it. That's kind of our easy go-to. We get our chicken sausage from Costco, still organic, grass-fed or pasture-raised. There's not grass-fed chicken. Um, Eggs, fried or scrambled with some chicken sausage. Second, egg bake. You can do anything in this egg bake. You can do eggs by themselves. You can do eggs mixed with cottage cheese. You can do eggs with cottage cheese with little hash browns over top. You can slice up your chicken sausage, throw it in the mix. If you can find turkey sausage nowadays, Target is the only place I can find it. Weird enough, but I can never find turkey sausage. So if y'all find it, y'all let me know where you go to. But if you can find it, cook up some turkey sausage, throw that in the mix. Egg bakes, you can get creative as you want. If you're adding vegetables, just know that they're going to have a little extra juice and that's going to change the texture of it. So I usually throw in some spinach and then maybe some mushrooms and I try to drain out that extra juice. But you can get as creative as you want with stuff like egg bakes. Hash. I talked about my breakfast this morning. I do this for meal prep sometimes. Sweet potato hash. Dice up some sweet potatoes, some onions, peppers, garlic, chicken sausage. I usually chop those up. Maybe if I can find that turkey sausage, I'll put that just in the mix and then I'll fry up an egg. Make sure it's runny and it runs all over. It's amazing flavor. It's enjoyable. I mean, I can have that for meal prep. If I do it for meal prep and I want the eggs still runny, I just undercook it. I just sear it up real good on each side and then undercook it as much as possible. When I throw it in the microwave, it tastes like a fresh meal. I promise you. I'll bust the egg open and the yolk runs everywhere. Omelets, you can do omelets. Make those at home. Get creative with those. Egg muffins. Get those muffin pans. The we got the ones with the silicone, so they pop out super easy. Boiled eggs. Liv will do boiled eggs with some toast and avocado spread over it, and she really likes that. I hate boiled eggs. They smell terrible to me. Breakfast burritos. We do breakfast burritos. We find the good non-seed oil tortillas at either Sprouts or Costco. Costco has the larger ones I've noticed. We get some of those. We do burritos. We sear them up on each side and throw them in the microwave when it's time. I'm a big fan of eggs, and it's not about what I think. It's about the amount of protein and micronutrients that come with it, and typically minimal carbs with this first meal of the day. Other options, you could do stuff like overnight oats. You can do blueberry muffins. You can do cottage cheese pancakes. You can do yogurt bowls. Look online, get creative. I'm not giving you as much ideas of what to do, which maybe I am, as much as how to do it. Come up with a strategy. Make sure you have a game plan for lunch and dinner. And some people, I've had people that hate eggs. They're just they would never eat them. They've made that decision. They're never going to do it. I think that's ridiculous. You don't have to have breakfast food for breakfast. You can have steak and potatoes for breakfast. Who says you have to have eggs or oatmeal or anything like that? Do what you want. You can do anything whenever you want. You're an adult. Okay, so dinner and lunch ideas. Just stuff that we do often. Meatballs. Meatballs are easy. We can add little shallots or onions in the mix, a little garlic. We can do side of vegetables, of asparagus, of green beans, of broccoli, of Brussels sprouts with some rice. I'll tell you about my rice trick here in a minute. Meatballs, power bowls, meat with rice and veggies. I do smoked chicken, slice it up, have some rice with some broccoli next to the side. I'll put a little bit of hot sauce or maybe barbecue sauce, a little bit sweeter, I know, but all in moderation. You can do things like tuna salad, chicken salad, salad with chicken on it, pasta salad, Mediterranean salad. You can do wraps. Get creative. It's not about what I'm telling you to do. You have enough knowledge of your macros, focusing enough on protein, getting good, healthy, high quality fats to build your own meals on their own. But you need planning. It takes me about 2 to 3 hours every Sunday to cook and clean up after myself to have me and Olivia and Rosie meals for 4 to 5 days a week. We work 4 days a week. So 3 hours for three people's meals all throughout the week. We're ready to go. Rosie is going somewhere. We have our little mason jar this big full of a meal that we can take with us wherever we go. Some things are cold, some things are warm. You need planning. You will not succeed in this challenge. You will not succeed in your healthiest version of you if you do not plan. 3 ways of planning: plan your meals, get your meals ready, put them to go, throw them in the microwave when it's time. Make the components, make meals a little bit more fresh when it's time. It's somewhat more time consuming. Let me tell you, those 3 hours are wonderful. You can listen to a book, you can listen to a podcast, you get to learn, or you get to just listen to some music and escape for a little bit of time. Make it fun. Get your spouse involved if that's an okay thing for you in the kitchen with your spouse. It might not be. I don't know your situation. But it's 3 hours and you save so much time on the back end. It is ridiculous the amount of time you save. You're not driving somewhere. You're not waiting at a restaurant. You're not waiting through a drive-through like I've seen some of you guys do when we're over here eating our meal prep. You're not cooking every single meal when it's time. It is so time consuming to get your meals together at the beginning of the week. Get your Tupperware together. Make sure you know where it's all going to go. There's so many components to doing this, but it takes about 3 hours once you have it planned. When you grocery shop, and I'm going to talk about grocery shopping in a second, you want to get all of your meals ready to go. Okay, so you have three different strategies: the meals themselves, the components. It takes a little bit more time, but at least it's fresh. And then the double batch. Double batch is the most time consuming, but it's more on your schedule. And it is planning, but it's a little bit more on your schedule, so slightly less planning with that one. Whatever works for you. Okay, talking fast. Hopefully, it's simple stuff here. So when you grocery shop, this is the last piece of what I want to talk about today. When you grocery shop, have a plan. Don't go and pick out things because you like them. I'm a huge fan of grocery shopping online through Instacart. We do the annual fee. I think we pay $100 a year for Instacart. The only extra fees we pay when they deliver it is tip. We tip them when they come, and that's the only extra fees. And I promise you it's worth it. And I save money because I'm not buying extra junk that I don't need. Here's what Olivia and I do. We plan out what meals we're going to have. We're going to do an egg bake this week. We're going to do meatballs. I want beef meatballs. Oh, you don't want beef, you want chicken. Cool, we'll get that. What are we going to do with it? We're going to do a starch and a vegetable with it. Awesome. What vegetable are we going to do? Let's do green beans this week. We did broccoli last week. Okay, cool. So we got our meatballs with two different meats because she wants something different than me. We got some vegetables to throw in the mix. And then what's our starch? Rice. Rice is a lot of our easy go-to, and we can add flavor to that. I'll tell you about that in a second. We'll come up with our meals, breakfast, lunch, and dinner. And then we think about weekends. Are we going to want extra snacks? We probably will. Are we going to cook anything at home outside of Monday through Friday? Like Saturday and Sunday, are we cooking at home or are we going out to eat? Okay, we'll go out to eat after church for lunch. We'll, go for dinner Saturday night. So we're going to need breakfast and lunch for these 2 days. Cool. Got our plan. Come up with a plan. Figure out the recipes. How much of things are you needing? Think about that. Use your calculator, use Google, find recipes online. How much of everything do you need? Have it delivered to the house. Okay, cool. So grocery shopping, plan and grocery shopping. When you are grocery shopping, what to look for? This is my strategy. This is what I do. I go for the protein first. I base my meals off of protein. I'm encouraging you guys to do the same. What type of protein are you getting? Meat, poultry, fish. Those are your three options. Meat, red meat, poultry, any sort of bird, chicken, turkey, and then fish. Those are your three options. When choosing them, look for pasture raised. That is big. Chicken, they have cage free and they have pasture raised. Cage free, they could be in a room the size of my office right now and literally have 100 in here, but they're not in cages, so they can label it cage free and it makes it seem better. It's not any better. You want to find pasture raised when it comes to chicken, when it comes to eggs. That means they are literally in a pasture. They are being fed. You want to be mindful of what they're being fed. That's another conversation. But this they have available to sunlight. They have available to bugs and ticks and worms, things that chickens eat. That being said, you're raising chickens. You can't just rely on them getting enough of the bugs, ticks, and worms and all those type of things to become healthy. They tend to feed them more, and you want to be mindful of what they feed. Okay, we'll worry about that in a minute. So pasture raised when it comes to chicken, especially when it comes to beef, grass-fed pasture raised. So there's such technological difference. Grass-fed means they've eaten nothing but grass their entire life. They've never been fed anything else. That's wonderful. They're not fed steroids or hormones. They're fed grass. That means the farmer has to do a lot of work to make sure there's enough grass for every single cow based off acreage, based off cows, based off the season. Okay. The other one, pasture raised, they're fed grass. but they're also fed other things as well to help build them up strong. So there's a little bit of discrepancy there. Does it have to be grass fed? I look for grass fed. That's what I look for all the time. But pasture raised, I think, is typically equally as beneficial. They're getting sunlight, they're getting real food. They might supplement just like we do. We try to get our protein and all of our nutrients from food first. We go to supplements when we don't get enough. That's pasture raised cows. So grass fed or pasture raised. Organic is wonderful. I don't think organic is enough. Cows can be in a building in a warehouse and never see the light of day, have never eaten a blade of grass in their life, and still be organic. Organic is not enough when it comes to animal products. I know that's misleading. That's a little bit harder to understand. When we see organic, we think, good, great, that's how it's supposed to be raised. Not necessarily. Look for pasture raised. Look for grass fed and those. Fish wild caught. If you can, it's not always possible. Always look for that wild caught. If they're farm raised, that doesn't necessarily mean bad. It's more room for them to eat bad. That's our protein. That's what we want to look for. Pasture raised, grass fed, organics is wonderful. There's nothing wrong with that. I just don't think organic is actually sufficient enough to be considered healthy. There's so many loopholes they can run around. Second, after I get protein, we're looking for produce. We're looking for fruits. We're looking for vegetables, things in that category. Veggies are typically cooked, typically. Fruit is typically raw. I'm just thinking about that when planning my meals and planning my snacks. I don't usually eat any fruit for my meals, but I do plan them for snacks. I do look for a variety of color. I think that is very important. If you're getting all orange vegetables, then you're getting the nutrients from orange vegetables. If you're getting all orange and red, you're getting those nutrients. You're getting different nutrients for different colors. Look for white, green, purple, red, yellow. The more colors you can get, the more variety of nutrients you are going to get. And that is a very big deal when it comes to fruits and vegetables. And then I do encourage you to get organic. This isn't a deal breaker. I don't think it's life and death about getting organic, but we definitely shoot for organic anytime we can, especially with stuff like berries. I think berries is a big one because think about when they spray it. Berries they're directly open to the chemicals being put on it. Corn, I want organic corn as well, but at least they have other things protecting it. So certain things you're going to notice are going to have a little bit more protection on the outside. Bananas, I don't always spend that extra money on organic bananas because they're higher up in the trees and they have that extra protection. So I do encourage organic produce, but especially with berries. Starches. Here's what we do with our starch because we don't want to overdo carbohydrates. All of these starches are carbohydrates, but they are beneficial. When we get rice, I personally get jasmine rice. Different people say different things. I've read a lot of different things out there. Jasmine rice tends to be the most pro in every category. There's pro between white and brown rice, but positives here, negatives here, whatever. When I do my rice, I cook it in bone broth. I don't put water in there. Everybody does water with rice. Logically, that makes sense. I do bone broth and collagen protein. I boil that and then put my rice in there. That has been a game changer for me. My serving of rice now has about 15 grams of protein and maybe 15 grams of carbohydrates. And it also has a ton of micronutrients for the buildup of my bones, tendons, and joints, especially. Rice, if you're going to do it, I highly recommend cooking it in beef bone broth. Put a little collagen in there. Pasta. We do pasta decently amount at our house. We look for chickpea and lentil pasta. There's advertisements of protein pasta, and there's nothing wrong with that. We do look for simple ingredients when we look for processed foods like pasta, but there are plenty out there where the only ingredient are lentils. The only ingredient is chickpeas. That's the one to go to. It's higher in protein, has the micronutrients, is not full of extra crap. Sauces. I'm almost there, y'all. I'm almost there. When we go to sauces, looks for extra condiments and flavors and things like that. I want simple ingredients. That's the number one thing I look for. I don't care if it says organic or not. I don't care if it says fat-free, sugar-free. If it does say fat-free or sugar-free, that's a red flag. I highly recommend avoiding anything with a label of fat-free and sugar-free. I look for simple ingredients. I do want lower sugar, and I want no artificial ingredients or as few as possible. Oh, that was a lot. Let me just simply recap. We started with keto diet. It's beneficial. It can be extreme. It has some benefits. If you're going to practice a keto diet, which is under 20 grams of carbohydrates a day, I recommend practicing it for a week tops. Don't overdo it. When it comes to meal prep, you need a plan. You will not have success if you do not have a plan. We have three main strategies: prepping your entire meal, prepping components, or double batch. Just make it as you go and double it up. Think about the components and then think about how you are grocery shopping. Grocery shop efficiently. Protein is a main thing to get the healthiest source. Source matters, especially with animal products. Whew, I tried to keep y'all here as little time as possible, but this stuff is very important. Questions, comments, concerns? Alrighty. Well, I will be here if somebody does have a question afterwards. Other than that, you all have a wonderful weekend. Make good decisions, and I will see you on Monday.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Austin, what's class this morning?
Let me go look.
Thanks. Let's begin.
We're
Caroline is coaching it.
yes,
It
that's why we're dressed and about to leave our house, but we'd just like to
upper body
We-
pull.
Oh, okay.
What is it?
Upper body pull.
Oh, all
Perfect.
upper body.
Yeah, perfect. So I won't die. This is good.
Yes, yes. This is
Okay.
good.
Thank you.
No problem. Have a good one.
Goodbye.
Austin, I've got one question.
Yes.
Um, this week I didn't have time to meal prep as much because I was out of town all weekend, but when I do my salads, I guess that like really puts me over on the carbohydrates, but I feel like I'm eating something really good for me and I enjoy it. I've just been adding tuna to it to get the protein. So is that, and I know we've talked about this a little bit, but they've got fiber and they're fresh. It's not like a box of crackers or something like that. So is it okay if I'm going over on carbohydrates with that type of thing?
Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. And it is a very good question because I do kind of focus on carbohydrates a little bit um, more than I should for you. Your carbs are right on point. Like you said, consuming them with the amount of fiber that they have makes a big difference. And like we said in the past, and this can be reiterated as many times as I need to for everybody. When, how do I say it? You find the balance for your body with the amount of carbohydrates. I'm very active, therefore, most people would think I need a lot more carbs. I don't feel like I need a ton of carbs in my diet because I get a larger amount of fats. I have a lot of calories coming from fats. My body does not crave carbohydrates very much at all. Your body very well might, and there's nothing wrong with that. It's just what your body's craving. So basically, we're going to take down the fat a little bit, increase the carbs a little bit. Perfect. We're still in good balance.
Okay, yeah, because I haven't really been meeting my fat or carbohydrate, well, especially this week with the I'm not meal prepping my salads, but it seems like I'm surprised that I'm not making my fat goals because of all the protein I'm eating, but it's low fat.
hmm And don't be afraid to get some things with fat. And so for ground beef, for example, I usually get the 80-20 ground beef. If it's too juicy, I'll drain some of that fat, but I still keep it on there because it's still very nutrient rich in that fat. And one
Right.
of the other concerns with carbs is when people easily overdo it, especially with the starchy carbs. And especially when I was talking about with the keto diet, how it's going to help with that avenue. I would not say that really applies to your diet because your diet is very full of vegetables.
Okay.
Mhm. So yeah, what I
All
was saying with low carbohydrates and the benefit, I would say that doesn't really apply to you as much because it is so well balanced. But yeah, continue getting enough protein, which you're doing amazing with, and just don't fear the fats. We don't
okay.
want to go crazy with it. I don't think you ever would. I think a lot of people growing up when you grew up, have always shot for that fat-free or low-fat version. I wouldn't be concerned with that. Just be intentional with where it's coming from.
Okay. All right.
Mhm.
Thanks.
No problem. Well, good morning, friends. Hope you're ready for a good one today. How's it going so far?
Pretty good. Um, I did little baby squats and deadlifts at therapy this week.
Good. That's awesome. How they feel?
So I did 2 sets of 10 for 30-pound dead RDLs, and then 2 sets of 10 for squats with 5 pounds.
Okay.
That was on Wednesday, and my quads still feel like I did a heavy leg workout.
How's your knee feel?
Uh, Fine.
That's all you could ever hope for.
Yep. Yep. So I've got 2 more weeks, 4 more sessions booked, and then they said unless something happens, they're discharging me.
Perfect, perfect. Oh, that's awesome. I'll tell you what, and something I've been thinking about you specifically, Jared, is not just how important legs are to our everyday life, which I'm sure you realize, but also with how valuable they are to be able to train to help with burning fat, building muscle. They make a huge difference because they're such a large muscle group, and they get to do the most. They get to produce the most output. They get to burn the most fat, all that good stuff. So very grateful that you're
Yeah,
cooperating again.
I immediately texted Elena.
Awesome. Good, good, good. Man, I was hoping more people were going to be here this morning. Like I said, it's a good one coming. At y'all's house, Jared, do y'all typically meal prep at the beginning of the week for the week?
Um, no.
Gotcha. Are you planning on it?
Yes.
Good, good. We're going to talk about that
We've
today.
Yeah, the last week was a bit of chaos. We've had a guest from back home, and her 2 kids at our house for the last week. So it's been a little bit of chaos planning. I don't think anything got planned, let alone meals, but
Carol, is that you on the iPad? Do you meal prep typically?
Yeah, I usually because I have to bring all my lunch to work and everything, and I usually decide what I'm gonna make on the way home for dinner, and I usually have enough food to um make something. Like last night I made chicken breasts with avocado and a little bit of sour cream and put them in like a spicy sauce. It was really good. And because I was looking for something, I thawed those out, but I had bought some beef, like all beef hot dogs and stuff, but they didn't have much protein in them, so I didn't eat those.
Yeah. All right, good. I love to hear it.